everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Bros.
Welcome back, everybody.
Well, you have the same old bros, Alan and Marcos, again.
Have not changed. Still have hair. You're still bald.
It's true. But I feel like it's been a while, only because it's been a week, and I feel like a lot of stuff has happened in this past week, or at least since last time we recorded. So I didn't even see you this weekend. So how are you doing? I know a lot of things have happened personally and whatever, but how are you?
Oh, it's good. Saturday we had the solar eclipse. I went, but it was very cloudy, so you couldn't really see much of the eclipse, which was kind of disappointing. Uh,
We'll call it was a total eclipse of your heart. Ah,
yeah, yeah. Did
so
did you did you get a good look of the eclipse at all?
no, because I didn't have any glasses, and
Mm,
so I didn't want to look at it with my bare eyes. In fact, I even tried to do the old cell phone trick where I'm like looking at my cell phone trying to find the sun, and no, it didn't work. So
yeah,
I just
can't do
enjoyed
that.
everyone else's pictures.
Yeah, just take credit for somebody else's work, as you should.
So, um, but this past week, at least through this international break, I've been watching a whole lot of soccer, like a lot of it, and
From Europe to South America to some in CONCACAF, it's been some good soccer.
there's been a lot of soccer. Um, and so I've just been enjoying. Also, the past couple of days, I've come down with, I guess, what's going around the stomach flu. So I enjoyed that. Hence why I'm drinking a lot of water today.
Yeah, I gotta wash that. Gotta wash that all out.
Ugh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
no bueno, no bueno. But
keep the sickness to yourself. Don't be spreading that.
I think that's why we still record from a distance. Maybe one day we'll record in person, right?
Yeah, don't worry. In the off season, you guys are probably wondering that we'll be in the same room together. We'll record together, but for now, we'll just do it from a distance.
Yeah. In fact, even in the off season, we'll be doing it from a very long distance, possibly, most likely, maybe at least one episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're
Who?
we're, prac we're practicing our social distancing.
um, this is great. We're glad you're all here because this is technically the last episode of the regular season, but it's not the last episode.
Oh, you got me sad there for a second. I was like, oh,
You have to add the regular season at the end of it, so that way it doesn't sound like it's an official ending. It's the end of the regular season.
I was like, we're not leaving quite yet. No.
No, not yet. And I say yet because who knows what's going to happen in the playoffs. But this is the last regular season game for RSL. They this game will determine a lot of things, which we'll get into. But we're just glad you're here. We're glad that you joined us and we joined you halfway through the season, something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. We joined in May, and we're glad you guys are here
In fact,
because
In fact, I will say, sorry to interrupt you. Yesterday, the 17th, we did celebrate 5 months.
5 months. And with this episode 34, we are now an episode older than Alan. So
You had to get my age involved in this, really?
age is just a number, right?
Unless, unless you're comparing it to the amount of episodes we've done, shoot. But there's definitely been a lot of ups and downs for RSL, for us, and learning all this, but we're glad you're here. We really appreciate the support. So, without further ado, let's get into what we do best.
Let's break down last game. So of course, in this last Saturday's matchup in Carson Galaxy,
Carson Galaxy. Thanks, Nick from LAFC. I would now call him the Carson City Galaxy all the
absolutely, that's what they should be called.
time.
So if you guys don't remember, we had a lot of players who were out because of injury, suspension, and international duty. So it was a huge change from the lineup that we're not used to. We had the usual back line that we're kind of used to, Oviedo, Vera, Silva, and Brody. So no real changes there. But then up top is kind of where we see a few new faces. We have Luna, Palacio, Anelli, and then Chang. And then we see the likes of Krylock and Julio. I mentioned this in our lineup, but this was the first time since the Red Bulls game over the summer that we saw Julio and Krylock in the starting on the field at the same time together.
Yeah, this lineup was probably the best lineup that we could put out. It
Yeah,
really was, especially with the fact that we signed three Monarch players to emergency contracts, or at least I forgot the term that they used, but it was definitely an emergency situation where we had to bring in three extra guys. And so
yeah.
it,
I tried out. They said I wasn't good enough to just sit on the bench. I was like, ah, next time.
okay, you make fun of my age, I'll now make fun of you. It's because you're too short, my friend. You're how tall are you? 5'5"?
Good day. Good day.
On a good day. Oh, you poor thing. I can't say much because I'm only 2 inches taller than you, so um but yeah, it this is the best lineup that we could put out. And for me, I think they did the job that they needed to, minus the result that we wanted.
For sure, for sure. I I think with the players that we had out there, I was satisfied. Like, yes, of course, 3 points would have been ideal. Anytime you get 3 points in any game on the road is always awesome, but with the players we had out, the result getting 1 point, it was a win for me.
Well, then let's get into it because um right from the get-go, we are suffering from the same thing that we've been suffering from most of the season, which which is defensive errors or defensive lack of communication, defensive breakdowns. We have a goal against us by Joveljic. Just what did you see on that goal defensively? I mean, is it really? Are we having issues with our defensive backs? Like, do we need to get new ones this offseason?
Well, we have Brody who's literally out of position. They do a cross. It's Agidi who crosses it across the field to Joveljic wide open. And it just seems like Brody's just jogging, just very slow to get to Joveljic. And I just don't know if it's the lack of communication. People who aren't really, we always are changing our back line. It's usually Vera Glad, Vera Silva, or it's always something like that. So I think it maybe partially is communication.
I'll add on to your communications, and I'll add on saying that there is a lack of awareness because it was
Mhm.
it was more like Vera got stuck in a situation where he stabbed at the ball.
Yeah,
The guy goes past him. That leaves Marcelo on an island because he was marking his guy and then having to push up against the other guy, which then leaves Brody in the back. Brody looks like wasn't paying attention, wasn't aware what was
yeah,
going on. I have no clue. I hate to criticize players that much, but really if you he was almost like 15, 20 yards away when the play started coming in. And I was like, what's up with our back post? It's like, hello. Joveljic was sitting wide open in the middle of the box.
yeah, yeah. It just seemed he was just too much ball watching instead of actually putting forth the effort to go after it. And we've seen that time and time after again this season of just ball watching and bad communication and defensive errors, and that's what this was once again.
Yeah. So we go down 1-0. And at that point, to be honest, I was disappointed because we shouldn't have been down 1-0.
No, not
Especially,
at all.
I mean, it's not like woof, we're like playing really great,
Yeah.
but this is against an LA Galaxy, a depleted LA Galaxy team.
And mind you, Galaxy, they had nothing to play for. Like they have been eliminated from the playoffs weeks ago. Well, not weeks ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, but still they had nothing to play for. Like they have a couple of injuries, no Puig, no Chicharito, so they're just very depleted.
Yeah, and so being down a goal with the players that we have on the field, the only thing so confession, I wasn't there for the first 30 minutes of the game. But and that's probably why we went down so early, is because I wasn't there. But
Uh,
when I turned on the TV, that's when we started doing better. But the when I saw the notification on my phone, I was like, bro, it has to be a defensive error because we can't. I'm not sure if we can be easily beat, and that it might be the wrong phrase to use. But if we're playing well, we're not an easy team to beat. So there had to be some breakdown somewhere. Um, so I was just disappointed. And then the same thing happens on the Costa goal.
yeah, yeah. So once again, it's I think we watched it prior to this. It was a set piece for RSL. I think it was a corner kick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, corner kick for RSL. Everybody's transitioning, coming back. You have Silva and Brody who are trying to get back, and we have Silva and Vera who are pretty aligned with each other, but they don't see that crossing pass that Jovic makes over to Costa, which was a nice cross, just cutting pass, and then Costa just one on one with McMath and just finishes that.
Yeah, that run from Costa was a more of an intelligent run. That's his experience coming out because he just cuts right across the defense and no one has him on the radar because I can only assume that when he's cutting across the defense, Marcel is thinking, "Oh, Brody has that side. I'm not going to go towards that side." But
Yeah,
Brody wasn't there.
yeah. Just looking back and watching that goal, just Marcelo just jogging, just going very slow to get back to his spot. He just doesn't really see Costa right there, but boom, Costa with his speed just beats all the defenders wide open and just slots it right past McMath.
Yeah, yeah. So, but here's the thing. We just talked about the two negatives about the first half.
Now we need some
But
positives.
well, that's where I'm going to get at. Um, the shots that we put out in the first half, we
Yeah.
had 10 shots to their
Hmm.
6.
Yeah.
We had a little bit more possession. I mean, possession was equal almost the whole game.
Yeah.
But the one stat that really sticks out to me, and I don't know how much people pay attention to this stat, and I've mentioned
Hmm.
it in past episodes. So if you've been listening, you know that I love this stat. It's the passes in the different halves, in
Hmm.
own half or in the opposition half. It 141 of our 222 passes in the first half were in the opposition half, which means that the most possession that we had was in their half.
Yeah. Whereas for LA, they were literally 138 in their own half. So we were owning them in their half, getting those shots, owning their possession, but nothing was really going our way in terms of getting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, we had a Brody hit the post, hit the
Oh my
crossbar.
gosh. Yeah,
So
I was at Kaye watching with the watch party with everybody. Shout out to Kaye. And that was disappointing. Everybody there thought that that should have been the back of the net. You're literally given the ball on a platter. You got to finish those, but drills it and just goes flying over.
yeah, so that's why I'm not disappointed in the
No.
overall effort in this game. You can't be disappointed because when you see numbers like that, that means we're on the front foot. We're trying to get these things. It was literally for me, LA's survival mode is the counterattack, which that's what both of their goals were. They were just
Mhm.
quick 1-2s. They're already in the other half running, trying to cross it into the middle.
Yeah.
So, um, before halftime, though, we do get redemption.
Mhm. We did, and it was a good Nelson, Palacio, Anderson, Julio reading each other very well. You got Anderson, Julio passes it back to Anderson, Julio, who slots it right past the keeper for a beautiful goal. Minutes and seconds right before halftime.
Yeah, it was a slight deflection. I'll say slight. It was a huge deflection. Thank
It was
heavens.
it was a huge, yeah.
Um, thank heavens for that deflection because I think the keeper would have gotten it easily. So, um, that that definitely I guess justifies the amount of effort that we put in that first half. To be honest, even though we probably should have had a two or
Uh,
two
yeah,
more
at
goals
least
at least.
2 or 3 more goals, yeah. And then
Um,
shout out to Nelson. I don't know if you knew this, but this was obviously his first assist of the season.
I may have known that, but thanks for reminding me. That's a I'm glad that he's now on the sheet.
Yeah, because it's even though it's just 1 and obviously close to the end of the season, that's a good confidence builder because people have been wondering and asking, like, "What's up with Nelson? We spent all this money on him from Colombia, and he hasn't really done much this season." And there you guys go. He contributed to a goal.
Well, I hope that people aren't saying that too much, even because he is a defensive midfielder.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I wouldn't and I wouldn't dare compare him to Beckerman. Beckerman
No, not
definitely
at all.
was. I Beckerman is up here. Nelson is still down here.
Yeah, like, you have to work to get to a certain tier, but I have been impressed with what we have seen from Nelson these past few months. He's a workhorse.
Yeah. So going to halftime, In the segment of Hablo con Pablo, um, he does mention about the defensive breakdowns in
Hmm.
the in that first half. He says we
Yeah,
need to clean it up. We need to make sure we're aware, we're communicating. Let's make sure that we're defending as a unit,
yeah.
basically. And I think that's where that that chat helped us a lot, especially at the beginning of that second half, because it almost seemed like Galaxy were coming on that front for the first 20 minutes of that first second half.
But you almost forgot we had a huge substitution we brought in the second half. We had Vera that came off because he had it looked like a slight little injury. I think Pablo was being better safe than sorry because he doesn't know what it could have been to bring in Hidalgo.
And so with that, I think from what I heard correctly in Diablo con Pablo, they switched to a 3-5-2,
Yeah, yeah.
which meant that it was Bodie, Silva, Vera in the
Yeah.
back. Really? Was it? Just a second.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Oh, sorry.
correct.
I said Vera. That's why I was confused. It was it was
I I got what you were saying.
it was yeah, Bodie, Silva, Oviedo. They
Yeah.
moved Brody up to a midfielder spot. That's what it was.
Mhm.
Um,
Which was a very smart idea because getting that goal right before halftime kinda gave that RSL that confidence being like, "Hey, we're just a goal down, we can get back in this."
yeah, and but it took a while for RSL to get back into the rhythm that second half because that second half was the opposite where even though it was just slight. We know it's just slight.
Oh, yeah.
Ball possession went towards LA's way, but I think it was only because of that beginning of that second half where they were on the front foot. We are still trying to figure out what the heck this 3-5-2 meant for us.
Yeah.
Um, but when things get tough, the tough players come out. And so that's where Luna really stepped up in this game.
Yeah, I think this we've seen Luna score goals this season and contribute, but in my opinion, I think this was probably Luna's best game for us this season because with having players be out with Sava, with Ojeda, he showed that he deserves to be starting every single game, that he is the man among boys.
Well, this game really he was shining a lot, and it was a lot of individual skill, individual play, but there was also a lot of connection with other players, with Palacio, with Julio, with Oviedo. There were connections on that wing where he was able to. It almost seemed like they put him in Sava's position where it was the attacking midfielder
Yeah.
and he seemed a little bit more free to do a lot more movements.
Hmm.
Um, which then begs the question of where do we play him in the future, kind of thing. But I don't want to touch that until a lot later. But I felt Luna was a lot more free in this game, which allowed him to. It almost seemed relaxed.
What
He,
why do you think that that was the case? Do you think it was maybe less pressure with all these players being gone?
um, I think he if I was in his position, I'd be like, there's no one else out here that has the ball skill that I do. Sav is the only one that has some good ball skills, or at least good movements and good awareness.
True. Yeah.
I think Luna was and probably was the best player on the field in terms of um awareness, field awareness, ball awareness, everything. And
Yeah.
so having that knowledge or at least having that confidence that he all of a sudden gained from seeing this situation made him make better decisions. I mean, just look at his goal. It was a lot of ticky tack plays. It was like he was passing here, doing a little
Yeah.
twirl and whatnot, and flipping on his head. I don't know. It was great to watch.
Yeah, his goal is something that we've been wanting to see out of Luna because we saw a couple of games prior this season where he's shown that technical ability with him and Sava, but it just came out more in this game against LA. And his goal, like you mentioned, it was a lot of ticky tacky, little 1-2 passes, but just that slotted home far post was excellent. It was beautifully placed ball.
Yeah, That's like European top quality shot
That
right
was
there.
that was a textbook finish. So, and obviously, minute we had 20 minutes before that. We had Krylock that came out, which was definitely needed. Krylock in this game, in my opinion, was very MIA. Is we've seen that a lot from Krylock this season. It's his getting up in age. Him and Silva, we saw Silva just walking a lot this game. Krylock just nothing there. Having Gomez come on, excellent addition. Brought that speed which we needed. 76-minute. So right before that, we had Loffelson, which came in coming off that injury. So he's kind of needed a little limited minutes. Brody came off. So what did you see from Loffelson that kind of that you liked in his few minutes? Or
Um, I guess what I liked was the familiarity. I
yeah,
I, I felt more comfortable because I knew that he kind of knew what he was doing. Even though he's not my pick for a starter, I don't mind him playing because he's familiar with what we're doing.
for sure, for
I
sure.
think that sub was smart because then we were able to put Anelli back in the defensive line, and we were able to go back to a 4-4-2. Um and so that gave me peace of mind knowing
Hmm.
that we go back to a 4-4-2. And after that goal or after that sub, it's not like we went down very much anyway. So it was only a couple minutes of LA really having any kind of attack. But then towards the end of the game is when we started dominating, when we just started launching attacks, which kind
Yeah.
of gave us the feel that we were going for that third goal. And I think we
Oh yeah.
could have if we would have had an extra 10 minutes at the end of that. I really think we could have done
I
it.
think we could have easily. We had the likes of our young teenage boys of Axel Kai and Gozo, who freaking Axel Kai, he looks like he could be like a tight end in football with his size at 15. But he had several, two or three good chances where I'm like, this is a 15-year-old who can finish and possibly score for us, but just couldn't find the back of the net. But
Well, how about this? Think about this. So yeah, he's 15 years old. He played quote unquote 6 minutes plus stoppage time. So we'll say I can't remember how much stoppage there was. We'll say he played 10
six,
minutes.
12 minutes because there's 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Okay, so he played 12 minutes. In those 12 minutes, he had three shots. Um, three shots in 12 minutes, that's one every 4 minutes.
That's not bad for your first ever start in the MLS.
Um, when if you want if we really want to get into this, Anderson Julio in his 84 minutes had two shots on goal. Or I should say two shots. And one of them was the goal. Um if we're gonna compare which people put out, we might have to consider that Anderson Julio is not putting out what he should be, and maybe the Axel Kai talk should be brought in heavy.
I was about to ask you that. So obviously Gozo and Axel Kai came in because players gone because we needed to fill on the bench. Do you think we might see the return of Axel Kai more minutes come next season?
I don't know the size and weight of Axel Kai at 14 years old, but if he was smaller then, I can see why they waited because now he looks like a beast and he's not slow either.
He's
Like
fast.
you
He,
saw
he
him put pressure and I was like, "Oh my gosh, we have like this is like diamond gold. This is like whatever in the rough. This is like the highest mineral you could think of at this point.
right, and then you have Gozo who has good communication and can know where Axel Kai is on the pitch at all times, and they can read each other very well. So I'm excited for that pairing.
I swear, if we don't play them at the beginning of next season, can you imagine this? All right, imagine.
Okay, I'm all imagining.
Imagination. What is that, SpongeBob thing? Anyways,
I think
um,
so.
Chicho and Axel Kai, two forwards up top.
Whew, that is lethal. That is ooh, that's another level, my friend. Oh my goodness. That's some good stuff.
Well, we'll get into that conversation. So game ends 2-2. I'm left. satisfied only because we saved a tie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like like I said, 3 points would have been ideal on the road against Carson Galaxy, but a tie is a tie.
Here's the thing: if we would have dropped points, we would have been in risk to be to
Seventh,
be seventh place.
yeah. So with the draw, RSL fifth place. So the worst, we'll get into more, but the worst RSL could get is now sixth place after that.
So I don't have very many other opinions on this game, only because
No,
I'm less satisfied. I wish we would have won. I think we could have won.
yeah,
Um, Given the circumstances, though, given the fact that first half was iffy defensively, even though we had
very,
a good
very
offensive
rocky.
push, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm glad we saw a lot of new faces with some teenage boys, and then we saw goal scorers, and we saw Nelson finally get his first assist. So I'm glad that we're seeing contributions that
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So um, but with a lot of these talks, I mean, we have a lot of absences, and a lot of new players that stepped onto the field, uh, like Axel Kai and Gozo. Um, the talk of salary comes up only also because the MLSPA came out with their salary report, and
Absolutely,
there's some things we kind of want to go over real quick because there's some
for sure.
players on the field that are producing and not getting paid much. And there's some players that are not on the field getting paid a lot and not producing. Oh, did I mean that? I meant, you know what I mean, guys. There,
So should we
there's a
should we
lot of
start
things.
should we start with our overpaid or our underpaid?
Let's go with we're gonna go with a segment called "Who's Overpaid and Who's Underpaid." We're gonna go with the who do we think is overpaid right now?
So I'll go through my list first. So I have Brody. So Brody's at 275. And then I have Rubin, who's making 672. Marcelo Silva at 600,000. Eric Holt, surprising shocker, at 218,000. So those are my three overpaid players. My four, excuse me.
I'm gonna go with three. Um, for mine. Well, I guess maybe I should ask you why do you think those players are overpaid?
So Brody, for one, we've seen what he has done this season. He's kind of going to the LA Galaxy game. He was kind of not really there, not really contributing, not really helping out on defense. He's been very slow to the ball, being beat on pieces. Rubin, um, same kind of thing. He signed this contract for now 672,000. Hasn't really been done much this season. I think he's at what, two or three goals. He's done, I think, more for Guatemala than he has done for RSL this season.
I mean, just saying.
Marcelo, mainly because of his age, he's just 34 years old. He's very slow, getting beat game after game. And then you got Eric Holt, who is season-ended injury, and we're paying him 218,000. It's like doesn't make sense.
Okay. Um, so looking at this list, I mean, this list there's a lot of ones that are like boom, you stick out at you like hardcore, like Anderson Julio, my friends.
That's
He
right.
yes, he has produced goals. I mean, shoot, I was gonna look up how many goals he's produced us this season. Um, 5 goals,
Yeah.
5 goals as a forward. He's played in well that's overall. Shoot. Give me like I wanted to get the amount of games he's played like right now. Um Anyways, he's played in looks like 43 matches so far this season. That's including um all the tournaments that we've been in.
Hmm.
He started in 27 of those and he's only had 5 goals. He's getting paid 820.
820 just come off the bench.
I have an issue with that. So
Yeah.
that's one for me. Um, Caldwell,
He's a
230.
oh yeah, he's a player that I forgot.
I mean, granted, he probably has 230 because that's probably like the minimum for the amount of years that he's been in the league or something like that, or that must have been
Hmm.
part of like his transfer.
Yeah.
Um, I think we're gonna obviously I can't say obviously. I'm pretty sure we're dumping him in the off season. Um, I can't say I agree with the Brody one though. I'll leave it at that. I don't think I agree with that one too much.
Okay.
Um, who else? Oh, a bunch of these Monarch players. You ready for this? Moses Nyman. He's played what, one game probably?
I don't
And
think he has he recorded a game with RSL?
I don't know.
I don't think he has.
Um, I'll agree with the Rubio Rubin. With the amount that he's produced this season, I can't justify his 672.
Yeah.
Um, I can justify a lot of these Monarch players making over 100.
Yeah, I think there's one that you pointed out prior to us recording. I think it was Jude Wellings. I think he's like a little over 100,000.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't know why. If
17-year-old that just plays for the Monarch. I'm like,
well, I mean, granted, I think you mentioned that he's played like most of the season.
hmm yeah,
But at the same time, I'm like, it's the second division, and you're
yeah,
making more than some of these first
first,
team players. In fact,
yeah,
now that we say that, who are our most, or who do
under.
you think are underpaid?
Oh, Vera, for one, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Just
Ve-
because in my opinion, I think he is up there as one of the best center backs for RSL, just because he has an amazing left foot. He has been, yes, he has the most yellow cards in the MLS, but I think he has been that dog for what we need on defense. So that's one for me.
I mean, just for context, people, this is 507, and you think that's underpaid?
Yeah, like we're looking at freaking Anderson Julio and getting 800,000.
All right, all right. No, no,
Yeah.
you're not. You're probably not wrong.
Uh,
I just want you to justify.
Next for me, Diego Luna, because we see what he has done so far this season. Literally being 20 years old, and he's making 134,000. Last for me, Pablo Ruiz. He's only making 573,000. So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because the man has, prior to him getting an injury, he was getting assists after assists, getting goal after goal. So I'm like, the man needs a pay raise. That's not fair.
All right, I see you. I see you. All right. Okay, with that, I'm going to raise you. Almost we're like betting here. All right. Well, I'm going to name the obvious ones. Musovsky.
Yeah.
Musovsky shouldn't be making less than Monarchs players.
Yeah, you have Jude Welling and Moses Nyman making more than Musovsky.
Yeah. In fact, I should probably preface this with any Monarchs player should not be making more than anyone on RSL. But then again,
Yeah.
half of the Monarchs team is already signed with RSL, so technically they're RSL players. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's true. True.
I guess if you spend more than 50% of your season on the Monarchs, then you shouldn't be making more than first team players. But that's my idea. Lawfulson, I think, is underpaid. He's only making 96, which is
Okay.
a little less than Musovsky. Musovsky making 98. I mean, well, just like, I'll be right back with that thought. And then who else is underpaid for me? Looking at this list. Um, I'll say Luna as well. Luna is underpaid. Um, I think those three players have made an impact on the field, and I think
Do you, do you not agree with Pablo Ruiz?
um Pablo Ruiz making 500,000 right now. I think that's where he's at. I think that's his value.
Really?
If you were to pay him, I think you'd be paying him like what
E-
do you call it?
e- e-
Standard of living.
Even with the assists and the goals he was contributing prior to him getting injured?
You'd have to compare him to other players in the league in that same position, how
Well,
much
like,
they're making.
of course, like the best of the best in his position. You got like a Lucia Costa and players like that, Almada. So
Eh,
obviously he's not. Obviously he's not comparable to that. But I think a slight increase wouldn't hurt.
I mean, if you're gonna say that kind of thing, yes, I think he should be making 700, 750, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
But I think he's right around his age. Like I said, he probably deserves a standard of living raise at this point. Um,
yeah, yeah.
but honorable mention of underpaid,
Okay.
Anelli.
He is a rookie though.
And
How much
Axel Kai is a rookie. He's making 100.
how much was Anelli at?
67.
67. Okay.
I think, in fact, if I'm not wrong, looking at this list, he is the least paid player on. In fact, he's getting the league minimum. That's
Wow.
the league minimum. Everyone else on RSL's roster has added bonuses, quote unquote. He's the only one that doesn't have any added on bonuses or any guaranteed compensation.
Interesting. Interesting.
So, honorable mention, Anelli, front office, raise his salary.
Do better.
Well, I mean, Anelli's been has started how many games?
A lot. Like give you the exact total.
Give me the exact total right now.
Show you the number.
In fact, I'll show
Uh,
me the numbers too while I'm at
Okay.
it. He's played in 28 matches and he started 20 of them.
Yeah. So I okay, I agree with you. So this season I hope Anelli gets a major increase.
I mean, I'm just saying he has started a lot of games and he's played 1,200 minutes.
Yeah, 1,200 minutes as a rookie is quite impressive for him.
Yeah. So, um there's going back to the underpaid people. I think we can now understand really why Musovski did what he did and why he thinks the way he thinks. Seeing his pay compared to other Monarchs players or other players that aren't even on the first team or
Right?
aren't
And
even playing.
seeing the number of goals and assists that he's brought to this team and the front office is like, no. So,
Yeah, I can't say that they're like no, but there has been a supposedly the reports are a lack of communication in terms of a renewal. So I hope that I think it's before December. I can't remember what date in December
I
they
think it's
have to.
I think it's after the MLS Cup, I want to say.
I think it's the 12th.
So yeah, like after the MLS Cup.
Yeah, that they have to finalize free agency or people that are going into free agency.
Yeah. Yeah, so with all these numbers, with our overpaid, our underpaid, all these things, I think a lot is going to happen this offseason. So,
I'm not real educated in the mirror situation. I'm not sure what the options mean and whatnot, but they really need to downsize his salary. That was one of those overpaid ones, I think.
yeah, I'd have to look back. I can't remember how long he re-signed for us. I think it was like till 2024 or 25, something like that.
It was through 24, option 25, I think.
Okay. That sounds about right. So,
But he's making 1.6.
yes. Definitely overpaid.
Yeah. Um, well, this is gonna be a hard transition. Like, there's not really a smooth transition to this, so we're gonna stop talking about the salaries because we could talk for days. But we're gonna talk about the internationals that were absent for this LA game that really affected us, plus injuries and how it's gonna affect us in the Colorado game.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's start with Savarino. Start
Yeah,
with
let's go with the internationals. So Sava.
Yeah, so Sava in his first game, he had an assist. They played Brazil, and for Venezuela, and boy, wasn't an assist. Freaking chips it up to I'm drawing a blank on his name, but
Bayo.
Abdelbayo. That's right. And beautiful scoring goal against Brazil. And it's always a good day when you score against Brazil. So he tied 1-1 for Venezuela in a great game. Um,
Let's just put this into reference. Um, no one or they hadn't taken away any points from Brazil in Brazil for like 20 plus years.
that is crazy. That is unbelievable. So way to go, Sava, to pick up an assist in a hard fought match against Brazil. So
I mean,
awesome.
he did come in as a sub, which was
Yeah.
unusual compared to the last cycle.
Hmm.
But it looks like they were saving him for the final push at the end because not only Sava went in as a sub, but Soteldo went in as a sub in the second half as well, and both of them as wingers are high octane for Venezuela. Having them on the opposite sides, just attacking, bombarding the wings, has really helped Venezuela have a lot of success recently.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a totally new Venezuela squad because I think they're sitting third right now in the table.
That's crazy.
So that is huge for their country. Second game for Venezuela. Sava didn't play at all, which was good for us. We'll see about that one. Switching over to Ojeda. Ojeda, I think he came off the bench
Yep,
for
he saw 16 minutes, I think, against Argentina. He came in like the 73rd, 74th minute. I was surprised, in fact, because we watch every Argentine game. Um, I'm sitting there watching with my son, and all of a sudden I hear the announcers start mentioning Brian Ojeda. I'm like, oh, where's my phone?
I know that name. Where do I know that name?
Brian Ojeda. I know him. I know him.
No, but
Uh,
he played 16 minutes against Argentina, and it's always a good day when you play against the world champions. Like he can put that on his pedigree and tell his kids that he played against Messi.
yeah, in fact, he defended Messi.
He defended
He had to.
he defended Messi. Unfortunately, Argentina did come away with the victory, so
Stop
good
it.
for
Don't say unfortunate.
oh, unfortunate for Brian.
Oh, it's unfortunate for him. I don't care. When it gets to the international level, I don't care who you are, where you come from, if you're from my team or not. If if you're against Argentina, I'm against you.
Sorry, Brian.
Sorry, and I bet Pablo Ruiz thinks the same thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Second game, Ojeda did not. He wasn't even in the 18 for the second game, so another good sight for us.
Well, I'm not. Well, I guess we don't know why he wasn't in the 18. I
Of course.
I can only assume that it's because they didn't need him. I hope it's not
Mhm.
because he picked up a knock in practice. But
Well, yeah, I'm hoping it's nothing too serious. Hopefully, just resting him. We'll have to see. Let's switch over to Lambert. Lambert in their first game, I believe they won.
yeah, they won.
They won. Fatmob was saying that Lambert scored the goal, but looking back, Kevin he definitely did not score that goal.
Like,
I think
you look at the clip and you're like,
no,
how?
Kevin, that was. I love you, Kevin, but that was not your goal.
Yeah, no.
So they picked up the win in their first game. Second game for Jamaica, it was a win.
Yeah, it was another win, but no appearance.
No appearance for Kevin in the second game. So good to see him um, get some playing time in the first game. Second game, we get Rubin, who scored a goal in the 12th minute for Guatemala, in which was a win for them.
Yeah, it was no, it was a loss.
Oh,
Or was
that's
it a
right.
time? Or was it a tie?
No, I think it was a loss to Trinidad.
Um, I'm gonna tell you here in like 2 seconds. It was a what date was it? Friday. It was Friday. It was a loss 3-2.
Yeah, that's right. So Rubio scored 12th minute to a loss to Trinidad, which was sad because they were doing so well in that game. And then we switch over to their game against Panama, which has always been a tough opponent in CONCACAF. And we have Coco Carrasquilla, who scores early in that game, and it was downhill. And Rubin starts that game, but Panama comes away with victorious.
Yeah, and I think he might have played the whole game, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. Rubin, I think he had 90 in both games.
Yeah, I think so too. So it was a rough one for him, but he did get a goal.
Yeah.
It was kind
It,
of a fluky goal, to be honest, but
Overall, it was a good time for our guys who are on international break. We got some goal from Rubin. We got an assist from Sava. So overall, I'm glad to see our players attributing to on the field for their countries.
yeah. And obviously, unfortunately, we had them out for against the Galaxy. But for those that have been wondering, are we going to have them back? Are they going to be ready? Um, just so everyone knows, even so with Sava not playing on Tuesday, that means he just flew right back out here. He's probably already arrived today, Wednesday. By the time you listen to this, he's probably gonna be at practice on Thursday before they fly out on Friday.
Mhm.
Um, I I am confident Sava's going to play. I'm confident Ojeda is going to play. I'm confident Rubin is going to be on the bench. You don't think
Yeah.
so?
No, I was agreeing. I was agreeing with you. I think he will be on the bench if you're going to play 90 minutes in the last game. There's no reason to start.
Yeah, so he'll be on the bench, and I think Lambert, as always, he's going to be on the bench as a just in case. Who knows?
In my head, Lambert's always going to be starting.
Um, but now the questions are there are a lot of injuries going on. Um, we have the minor ones, Musovsky. We don't know much about Vera. At least we don't. Probably someone else does. We don't know much about Vera. And there's a Chicho is also injured. But we're gonna go through this one by one. Moose. There are reports that say that he is ready to go on Saturday.
Hmm.
I think we see him start.
Yeah, that would definitely be. I would prefer to see that because see some new faces out there. We haven't seen Moose for a couple of games, so I would like to see that.
So we have a moose possibility, a moose sighting.
We have
Um,
a Moose on the loose.
so Moose could be starting on Saturday. Who else did I say? Vera. Vera, I we have you seen an update?
I have not seen an update on Vera.
Yeah, so the only thing we have is from Pablo from the post game interview that Caleb had with Pablo said that he picked up an ankle injury.
Yeah,
That's all we have. We don't know how serious it is, but I can only assume that we're going to be resting him because we have Glad back. So with Glad back means it's going to be a Glad Silva backline.
correct, correct.
Now, Chicho, this one's a huge one because everyone's been saying that if it's a hamstring, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, right?
That's usually the time span for a hamstring. Yeah.
Okay, so we have unofficial unofficial sightings. Okay, so when I say unofficial, it means there's nothing from the team, nothing said from the team. But um, Marcos, when were you out there? On Tuesday?
It was
Yesterday?
Tuesday,
No, Monday.
Monday. I'm getting my days on Monday.
So tell us what you saw.
Yeah, so I was at the RSL Academy, taking in some high school semifinals games. So, but looking over the fence, I see Chicho, only one practicing out there on the pitch, doing full on sprints, literally going from jogging to sprinting in full game speed. So looked very, very good. Stretching in between as well, like he would go for his legs, stretch, but I was happy. It made me very happy and excited to see that him going full speed. So very confident.
So there's a Chicho sighting. Um, we can't tell you what that means, what's going on, but we can tell you that he's running.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. So my thoughts are this.
Hmm.
I think I don't think we see him against Colorado.
No, no, because playoffs are 3 games, best of three. So the worst it could be is could be the third game, could be the second game. So I don't see that. Maybe I don't see that first game in the playoffs.
What day do the playoffs start? I
28, 28.
so the 28th is first game.
Hmm.
Um, what's the date range of the first round?
I believe it's the 28th to November 12th.
Okay, so get me this. That's like 3 weeks. That's
Yeah,
3 weekends, which means
yeah, because
28th.
one game every week.
That I mean, not gonna lie, that sounds amazing because that means once we play this Saturday, our first game is not going to be until the next Saturday. And
Hmm.
then the second game is not going to be till the following Saturday, possibly, if what I'm
Possibly.
understanding.
Yeah.
So we're looking at one, two, like 18 days of rest.
Yeah, so with seeing him looking like he's at full strength doing those sprints and running, I don't see why he couldn't possibly be back for that second game of the playoffs.
I'm just saying. This is unofficial news brought to
So
you by the bros. I'm not gonna guarantee anything because I don't want to get in trouble with anyone. But all I can say is that there's a Chicho sighting at the high school semifinals. I mean, if if he's going to be out in public, I'm just saying. Um, so that how how's this all going to affect Saturday? We'll talk about the Saturday game, but let's talk about our playoff situation.
Yeah, let's break down these different scenarios. So let's start with what does RSL need to do to get to? Let's start with the 3 seed.
Three seed? Let's go reverse. Let's start with the lowest.
Okay, let's go backwards then, my friend. Let's go 6 seed.
Let's go with like the minimum that RSL needs to do in order to get anything done.
Okay.
And we're not gonna get into opponents because that's just too much math
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna do what does RSL need to do to get
to get
into that certain spot into the standings. So for sixth place.
sixth place. RSL needs to do a draw or a loss or just lose completely. Um, plus a a Vancouver win. That so Vancouver win. That's if RSL has a draw. If RSL loses, Vancouver just needs a draw.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Um, this is where it starts getting complicated. This is where we would have to be like, well, we'd have to do this, and they'd have to do this. So fifth place. This is going to sound really chaotic.
Where RSL is currently at right now.
RSL can win, lose, or draw.
Okay.
Plus, Vancouver needs to do the equal of RSL.
Okay.
Um, plus, Houston needs to win. Plus, Seattle needs to win. I don't know. I don't know why Seattle needs to win, but because Seattle doesn't get affected if we get fifth place. So, anyways, basically, RSL needs Vancouver needs to do the same as RSL if we want to do fifth place. Plus, Houston needs to get points. I should have added
Okay.
that. That's what it was. Win
And then
slash draw.
on to fourth place then.
Fourth place. This is where it also gets a little bit complicated. Well, actually, less complicated. Fifth place is actually the most complicated. Um, but fourth place, RSO needs to win.
Okay.
Plus, Houston needs to have a draw or a loss, so they can't get more than 1 point.
Hmm.
Plus, Seattle needs to win or draw, so they need to get points. And Vancouver needs to get minimum points or a loss, so a draw or a loss. So that will fit us right into fourth place.
Oh, okay. And the last one, finishing off at the third spot.
Oh gosh. So RSL needs to win plus a Seattle loss plus a Houston draw or a loss plus a Vancouver draw and a loss.
Whew. My friend, all these from third to fourth to fifth to sixth, these are super complicated. But
And,
these,
and this all depends on a lot on what these other results are.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I don't, in my opinion, I don't care who we play as long as we get that home field advantage. So
Let's see. So here I have an issue with this home field advantage because home field advantage basically just means I understand that means if we go to the third game, we host the third game.
yeah, because it's whoever wins first one to win 2 games.
Right. But basically home field advantage just means you get to play at home first.
I feel like isn't that kind of gives you the upper hand though?
With a team like RSL, who knows? I mean, I think it might be better just to start off away and then bring it back home
But obviously you would want the higher seed because if you go further in the playoffs, then that means you'd host that game. So that's kind of why also.
naturally. But I mean, if we're talking about this first round, I mean, I'm kind of shoulder shrugging because I think I think we just don't want to end up against Houston.
I think if you want to win the MLS Cup, if you want to go far in these playoffs, you got to face the best. You got to be the best. So yes, we've lost to Houston twice already. So at some point, we're gonna have to face them and beat them if we want to go far in these playoffs. So
I mean, so we did take a poll a couple days ago of who would you guys rather face in the playoffs? With overwhelmingly at 55%, you guys want to face the Whitecaps.
I wonder why. Beating them twice this season, it just seems like all of our confidence is right there. So it makes the most sense that you want to play that team twice.
Yeah,
Um,
but in order to play against them in the playoffs, here's the scenarios.
okay.
And most of you guys saw this, but in order to face them, we would need to win, plus Vancouver needs to win, plus Houston needs to lose or draw, plus Seattle needs to draw or win. So that's how we would face them as a 4-5 matchup.
Well, I really like those chances. Let's hope that one happens. I like that one.
Or it would be an RSL win plus a Vancouver loss or draw plus a Houston loss or a draw plus a Seattle loss. Don't ask me why. That just confused me.
Yeah, yeah, that was a lot.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can do this scenario stuff anymore. Oh my gosh. I just literally just I read that. I'm like, at what time did I write this? Um, I'm gonna wait till Saturday. I'm gonna wait till Saturday.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of different scenarios that RSL could be at from third to fourth to fifth to sixth. We're gonna see what happens Saturday. But with that, we have a game on Saturday. It is decision day. It's the most important day on the MLS calendar, where people can sneak in like RSL has in the past 2 seasons to get into the playoffs, where or teams can literally go packing home.
Yeah. Um, let's break down this game, and then I want to ask you another question after this. So
It's okay. RSL is not DC United, so that's all we can say.
they're not already eliminated. Yay. Um, for me, to be honest, not much to break down here. There really
No,
isn't.
you've beaten this team 3 times this season, one of them in the Open Cup. We're gonna have a lot of fresh faces back from international duty. So there shouldn't be any reason to drop any points on the road. Because obviously Colorado, they've been eliminated from the playoffs way months ago. They're at 27 points, 5 wins on the season. Embarrassing. 26 goals scored, 27 goal differential. So there is no reason at all that RSL should not lose this one.
I just hope that we don't find a way to lose. That'd really suck. But yeah, there isn't a way to lose this game. So um, I I think with having, in my opinion, I think we're gonna have Moose back, which then turns into who should we be having paired up with Moose? I really think we should be having Anderson Julio because that's our only other option. But if we have Sava, Luna, Loffelson, Palacio as our midfield, we're gonna be great. Even if they think, oh, let's have Sava rest for a little bit and let's put in Gomez, we're great still.
Yeah. And then for our back line, do you see the likes of just Glad and Vera?
I mean, who else?
I kind of feel like Marcelo kind of lost his spot because we've seen a better duo of Glad Vera on that back line.
But Vera's out for injury, I think.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's why I think it's Silva Glad.
So,
So we have Silva Glad. Um, the only things up in the air are the outside backs, which I think we're gonna stick with Brody and Oviedo just for familiarity's sake. Oviedo
mhm,
has stepped up his game, obviously.
mhm.
Brody is so
Yeah, yeah,
I mean you could stick in an Nelly in there, you really could, but um I think it's going to be that kind of formation. I think the only question is going to be whoever's up top.
yeah. Like Colorado just played their last match as well as RSL on Saturday. They tied on the road to a very good Dallas team. So that's kind of a shocker. They had an early goal in that one, but then Dallas came away and scored about 10 minutes later.
Which, by
So,
the way, that tie ruined Dallas's chance of going higher up in the table.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So
And
huge
and
one.
and that's where I want us to be careful with because it looks like Colorado's just looking to ruin playoffs for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. And with that, what players kind of worry you the most for Colorado?
I mean, if he's available, Diego Rubio, if he's available,
Yeah,
because
obviously he wasn't available in the last game against Dallas.
um Navarro is he can do stuff.
Hmm.
Who else? I look at their lineup and I'm like, who are these people?
For me, I mentioned it the last time RSL played Colorado, but it's the one that they picked up from Atlanta, Andrew Gutman.
Yeah,
Um, their left back's in at 4 goals, 2 assists. He's very, very good goal scorer, very tack minded. So he's one to watch out for. But yeah, like you said, who are these people? Like very, very young squad. I don't see a reason why we can't pick up 3 points. So I would be very, very disappointed otherwise.
yeah. At this point, and I mean, yeah. I'm looking at their roster. I'm like, eh, I can't see any one of these guys really affecting us too much unless we just have a total collapse. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, I don't think you can even name a Rapids player outside of your normal. We know Diego well, yeah, Diego Rubio from Kansas City. That's the only reason why we know him. Um, you can't name another Rapids player like off the top of your head if you didn't know anything about the league.
It's true. It's 100% true.
I mean, then again, people on here are probably like, well, you can't even name an RSL player if you don't know anything about the league. True. I mean, yes, I understand. But what I'm trying to say is, even us knowing about the league and a lot about the league, we can't name one Rapids player without having to look at their roster.
That's true. So I like that the league gave us Colorado to end out decision day. Very, very good in our hands. So we kind of have that upper hand. Beating your little brother 3 times this season should be an icing on the cake. So with that, my big brother, you know what time it is? It is. It's our last time for the regular season. Let's end on a good note. It
Okay.
is prediction time.
Was that good enough? I think that was
Oh,
good.
that was good enough.
Okay, I'll do this one first. This is straightforward. I mean, how much easier does it get? You're playing against the last place team in the MLS, our quote unquote rivals, according to Victoria Beckham, the best of the Rockies. But this one should just be an easy one. I'll go 2-0 for RSL.
I like it. I like it. So RSL's not going to score. We're not going to score one. We're not going to score two. We're going to score 3 goals. We're going to score 3 goals, and somehow or another, RSL is going to have that home field advantage going into the playoffs. Boom.
Oh, you did playoff prediction too. That's awesome. I didn't, and I'm not going to. There's just too much going on. So this is
Awesome.
good.
So this
Wait, I have questions for you.
absolutely lay it on me. Lay it on me.
Um, who who is what's the game that you're going to be like hyper focused on besides the RSL game? 'Cause I know there's a
Beside
lot.
um well, the East doesn't really because RSL is obviously not in the East, but the one that really intrigues me the most that we need to have our eye on is Portland, Houston. With Houston being right above us, we need to see how Houston does. And then the other one that intrigues me is St. Louis, Seattle. I think St. Louis will be sitting a lot of their players. They already secured that 1 seed. So Seattle has a lot to play for.
All right, I'll add one more game, and I think this one might be entertaining. If you guys get bored with the RSL game for some reason, switch over to the KC Minnesota game.
That's right. That's right.
That's a do or die game.
They Winner of that is gonna probably be playing. He's gonna sneak into that 9th seed.
Yeah, so that's another game. Um, to finish this off, everyone that wants to find a place to go watch the game and that doesn't want to watch it from their house and doesn't want to travel with all the supporters, head over to Kaye because not only Kaye will have the game, but there's going to be like a jersey swap, soccer
That's right.
equipment selling
Yeah,
hoo-ha.
if you have some old soccer jerseys that are just sitting in your closet that are collecting dust that you don't even fit you anymore, bring it to Kaye on Saturday and come exchange them. And who knows what jersey somebody else has in store for you. So
Um, you won't see either of us here because we're going to be at my house.
yeah, yeah. So we will be having a little watch party at Alan's house. So catch all the decision day action this Saturday. Eastern Conference starts at 4 o'clock. Western Conference at 7 o'clock. It's gonna be huge. Catch us, and we will be keeping you up to date of the table because the table will be changing throughout the evening Saturdays. So until then, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the RSL Bros, where you can catch us are up to date all of our RSL content, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you guys want to be watching this video as well.
And Facebook.
And Facebook too. But until next week, when we will break down our MLS bracket for you guys, we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace out.
Ka-chow!
Choo!